just to start, I'm going to go back into the basic category and just add a couple of these to use at the beginning. So I'm going to add a label widget and a numeric field just to start. A label widget is good for displaying some static text, and you can edit that text by double-clicking on the label, and you get this little text editor that opens up. So you can go ahead and type your text in there. It's also possible to edit that text as a property, which is how we're going to be editing most of these widgets. So on the right side of this screen, you'll see my first property here is text. I can change it here instead. For my label widget, I also have some formatting tools here. So just to make it a little bit bigger, I can click and drag on any of the sides here and expand the size of my widget. And once I've done that, now we can see the formatting a little bit better. So I can do things like change the alignment, bold or underline the text, change the font size or the font. I can even change the color of it here too. So I can click and drag to move this widget around the screen. And you'll notice that as I do this, sometimes I get these red lines that are kind of helping me align them. That red line is part of the Snap to Object feature, which you can turn on or off by clicking View at the top here and selecting Snap to Object. So if I decide to turn that off, then I will no longer have those red lines. Instead of that red line, you might like to have a grid and a Snap to Grid feature instead. So that's something that you can use. Whenever I have Snap to Grid checked off, it will just automatically align my widget with the grid. And if you need to change the size of those boxes, you can click View Properties and change the grid size boxes. But I'm just going to return to Snap to Object. Another thing that you can do just with formatting your widgets is it's possible to right-click them, and you can copy widgets and paste them in other parts of your project as you would expect. You can right-click and delete them this way too. Or if you do need to delete a widget, you can just click it and use the delete key. So a label widget is usually good just for static text. Anytime you have something changing, particularly a number, it's usually good to use these numeric fields. So for my numeric field here, whenever I click it or touch it on the screen, it's going to enter a numeric keypad or show a numeric keypad. And from that keypad, I'm able to enter in a number that could be saved into a tag if I link a tag to this widget. So that's what I'm going to do next. The way that I do that is I find the value property of my field, and I click the plus sign by value, which will open up this tag explorer, and I can use this to select the tag that I would like to link to this widget or to the value of this widget. So I'm going to pick one of my integer tags. Tag 4 is fine. I can change the access type, read only, read write, or write only. I'll pick read write and click OK. So now we can see in this yellow highlighted column, I've established a data link, which just means that the value of this tag 4 is going to be one and the same with the value of this numeric field. In other words, it's going to display the value of tag 4, and I can change it using the numeric field. If I need to delete this, I can click the minus, and it will be gone. It didn't actually delete the tag, it just deleted the data link, so tag 4 still exists in my project. And another way that you can add the data link is by clicking this A icon and typing in the name of the tag, which is sometimes faster. So I created tag 4, or I added tag 4. I can change the access type here and change it to read write. So if I go ahead and simulate this, we'll see the value of tag 4, which is a 0, and then I can click on it and add a new value. Something else that I would like to show with this is demoing that online versus offline simulation. So if I double click on this, which will allow me to add a tag, basically accomplishing the same thing as clicking the plus sign by value, I can get back to my tag explorer, and I'm going to pick a Modbus tag this time. And when we simulate that with, I believe, the simulation mode unchecked for online simulation, that means it's going to look for my PLC, which I don't have. So I'm just receiving this communication error, and I'm receiving the default value of the tag, which was 999. So it's not really showing me anything. But if I want to change that, then I can just check this off, and it's going to turn it into a 0, and it'll let me just do some testing with this tag, just like with my other tags. So a lot of these other properties we're going to link tags to as well. If I expand everything, you can see that there are a lot of them, and we'll definitely play with a few. But before doing that,